Thank you, Speaker. Well, what a journey it's been over the last 6 months. It's finally today standing here in front of you all for my inaugural speech. For a person whose political interest was hearing what the government of the day had proposed via TV or radio and talking about it with my family and friends, handing out how to vote cards for Russell North and Darren Chester many years ago, talking with politicians at times of crisis after devastating floods and fire, my knowledge of the inner workings of the political arena is limited at best. Now, don't get me wrong, I care about decisions made that affect myself, my family and the community where I live. Now, normally I'm a 362-day-a-year, short-wearing, high-vis polo, work boot walking plumber. Yep, I'm a tradie. So the change to a suit, fresh shirts, a tie and shoes with laces is certainly taking a bit of getting used to. Home is about 2 hours from here. I have lived all my life and raised my family in the best place possible. We are 40 minutes from the beach, 40 minutes from the snow and a couple of hours from Melbourne town. I live in the Latrobe Valley. For those in here who don't get past the Pakenham border, we are just a little further down the road, so please come for a visit. So how does a plumber end up here? How does someone who finished year 10 at school, who was an apprentice plumber for 4 years, continued to work as a plumber up until 2 months ago, with no political training, get elected the first time I try? Could it be that people can relate to my journey, have trust in someone who is outside the political arena? Or is it because I'm a small business owner and family man who has endured all the ups and downs of day-to-day life just like them? In my time working as a plumber, I've been fortunate that when I knock on a door, it doesn't matter who answers, they are happy to see me and say, "Come on in." Now, it may be that I'm unblocking their toilet or fixing their heater, but they are happy to let me in. This may be a different story from now on. After fixing their issue, it normally involves a cuppa, a biscuit, or sometimes, depending on who it is, some hot scones. Then the conversation starts. I get to hear firsthand about the cost of living these days. Rates, power bills, water bills, gas bills, insurances, school fees, the list goes on. How getting into a doctor can take up to a week. The state of our crumbling country roads, will I get an ambulance if I ring, and how it takes 3 to 6 months to see a mental health specialist and even a dentist. All things that worry most mums and dads, both old, middle-aged and young. One of the other concerns I hear is the disconnect between the city and the country. We country people see all the money being spent on roads, tunnels, rail services for the city, and we are left with crumbling country roads that cost lives. A bridge that can't be opened in tyres, and our trains, well, they're called buses. Down our part of the world, we supply and maintain Melbourne's power, timber supplies, water, gas, and like other country areas, your food source. If you now look at a map of political seats, you can see the wagons are starting to circle as the country have had enough of the biased inner city spend. The Valley's DNA is being tested at the moment. The work options for our mums and dads are in the process of being restructured or transitioned from secure employment to uncertainty and, in many cases, no jobs at all. The power industry that has served Victoria well to keep the lights on, power our manufacturing industry, allow us all to live in the secure knowledge that when we turn on a light switch, plug in our phone, we get our latte, and nowadays, when we plug in our electric car, you know it's going to work. Everyone is committed to embrace the age of renewable power. Wind turbines and solar panels are going to be the way of the future. It's what people want. We are told by experts who have crunched the numbers, processed all the data and done all the modelling that renewable power can stand alone to provide our power needs. The experts I've spoken to, and I want to make it clear, my experts don't sit behind a desk in Melbourne. They are the people that work around the clock in those power stations and have done so for the last 20, 30 and 40 years. The same people who see the demands on baseload power needed to run the state of Victoria. Electricity to make our lives function as normal is going to fall a long way short of securing our state's power appetite. We have a chance to get the power challenge for the future right. Don't rush it to make political parties feel warm and fuzzy. Do it once and do it right for the people of Victoria. Our future and way of life is at play. Our children's and their children's futures are on the line. Let's get it right the first time. The timber industry is another that is being closed. Generations of logging companies are on their knees. They have no work because of decisions made here. Lock up the bush. Let's get serious. We have the best timber work practices and procedures in the world. Yet to be seen for the want of a better word, turning green, we have started on the path of shutting down other industries that rely on our timber supplies. Builders are going broke, having to shut the doors because they can't get timber to build houses. Prices are going through the roof. The Maryvale Mill are making people redundant, and the white paper, that's what it is here, Australian-made paper that I am reading from today, has stopped, maybe never to be made again. Our country shows, and now the iconic Melbourne show, are in danger of not having the renowned and fan favourite wood chopping, as they can't get access to timber for this year and more than likely the years ahead. The decisions made now are affecting our way of life. Why can't we have the best of everything? We do have the assets to do it. Our manufacturing community in the Valley is nervous. What is our future going to look like without our biggest employers closing at an alarming rate? Why can't we be the ones to make wind turbines and solar panels and not send them overseas to be made? A decision on bringing forward the closure dates on coal-fired power stations and locking up the bush has far-reaching repercussions not factored in for our communities and our way of life. The small business community have had it tough also. An unforeseen pandemic with lockdowns and now the aftermath of trying to reopen and re-engage staff is a real challenge. From trades of all descriptions, retail, hospitality to supermarkets, they are having trouble getting quality staff to service the customers who have returned en masse. The pressures on the owners, who are mums and dads, are off the charts. They have to work 12 to 15 hours a day. Then they go home in their trade and in the shops. Then they go home and do bookwork for 2 to 3 hours to comply with all the rules and regulations thrown at them. They go to bed exhausted and they get up and do it all again. Small businesses are closing. They need us to put our arms around them and tell them they are doing an amazing job and we've got you. How do I know this? I am a small business owner, doing this day after day. I had to become a politician to work less hours. My job is to be the voice for the people of the Latrobe Valley, bring their concerns to the forefront. I now work for them. I'm not a person who points fingers and waves my arms and says, why is the government doing that? Why don't they do this to make our lives better? If you want to know the answers, stand up. Be the person to find out. Be the person to make a difference. When I was deciding to run, I asked myself what I think is a pretty simple question. If I was going to be able to raise the concerns of the Latrobe Valley and make changes, where would that be? Would it be using TV? Would it be using radio? Would it be using the newspaper? Or via social media? All handy, but the answer was no. In my mind, the only place I could work the hardest for the people of the Latrobe Valley and push for change is where I stand right now. In this chamber, in front of all of you. Nowhere else, it's here. I had to work my hardest to get here. Now I have the opportunity to serve the people of the Latrobe Valley. The privilege of being in this chamber will never be lost on me. We have the opportunity to secure Victoria's future. We have resources that are the envy of the world, so let's get it right. Some thank yous to my children Mitchell and his partner Brooke, Bailey and his new wife of a week, Taylor, and my daughter Alana. Thanks for backing me and helping me. To my mum and dad, Faye and John, thank you. Dad always told me from a young age, when you meet someone, give them a firm handshake and look them in the eye and listen to them. Always respect their point of view, even if it's different to yours. I still carry this advice with me today. Special thanks to Gloria Octoloni, Bill Hempel and Andrew Livingston. To Leah and Andrew and Liesl and Tim, thanks for keeping me focused and grounded. The people of the Latrobe Valley, I thank you for electing me as your member for more. For those who didn't vote for me, I'll be working on you over the next 4 years. I'll be working for everyone in the Latrobe Valley to make our way of life better. Thank you to all who stood on pre-poll and on polling day to help hand out my how to vote cards. Thank you to the Nationals team. Not just my colleagues in here, but the team behind the scenes. We have major issues we need to deal with, but we are lucky we live in a wonderful state and country. Inside these four walls, we get to shape Victoria's future. The Latrobe Valley is back and up for the fight. I am unsure if a plumber from country Victoria has ever stood here and had the opportunity and privilege to represent their region. I hope with me standing here in this chamber can prove to people that no matter what background or level of education or political understanding, anything is possible. As a plumber and small business owner, I'm used to working long and hard to achieve outcomes for the people I work for. Now as a politician, I'm working for the people of the electorate of Morwell to achieve more and secure a better way of life. My work ethic won't change. The collective voice of the Latrobe Valley will be heard. Thank you, Speaker.